All right, so here we go. I'm Charles, and this is my 91 MR2 Turbo, and this is how to install a 45mm boost gauge in place of the stock boost gauge. Now, I had done this about 10 years ago, so I don't have all of the pics that I originally had. So first thing you're going to do is you're obviously going to buy your boost gauge, and it's going to come in a box. In your box is going to be the boost gauge on its own, and then also this boost sensor and wiring, which is connected to it. In order to get this into the cabin, you're going to need to remove the CD box and then also the center console. So to do that, you're going to take off the shift knob, the shift boot, the surround, and then also the center console, which is about 4 screws, and then also the radio bezel. Once you've got that done, go into the engine bay. I went ahead and just zip tied the boost sensor right by the firewall. Once you have that done, go back into the cabin and remove the grommet for the shift cables that run through the firewall. I then took a clothes hanger and fashioned a hook with it, fed that through the firewall, taped up the wiring for the boost sensor to that, pulled it through into the cabin, and then poked a hole into the grommet for the wiring, fed that through, pulled it all the way through, put the grommet back in. Once that's done, you can run the wiring all the way up along the tunnel. I did it on the driver's side, and it fits perfectly, slots right in there, as you can see, and ran it all the way up to the gauge binnacle. Now, once you're there, go ahead and remove the gauge binnacle. You're going to remove the crystal, you're going to remove the gauge covering, and that'll give you access to the boost gauge itself. Go ahead and just remove that. And then once that's removed, in order to get the new boost gauge in there, you're going to need to either file down or grind down some of the plastic there. Basically at the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock position, just start filing it down, grinding it down until you can get it to fit. Once you're able to do that, I then went ahead and drilled a hole in the top of the binnacle for the wiring. So push through the wiring, get the gauge in place. If you want to, you can glue it in place. I didn't. It fit fine without it, and it hasn't moved around in the 12 years or so since I installed it and I'm making this video. Now, to wire it up for the power, you can see here, and if I remember correctly, the white is the power line, which is why I've got the ohm resistor on it, because it is an LED light within the boost gauge, and without dropping down the voltage on that, it's a little too bright. It looks it looked out of place without that resistor on it. But your boost gauge should tell you which wire is power, which is ground, and everything else. Now, once that's all done and you've got your boost sensor wiring clipped into the gauge, just go ahead and reverse back everything that you just did, put it into place, and you should be good to go and done in the cabin. So now we're back in the engine bay, and all we have to do is connect a boost line to this new boost sensor. And we do that by running a T-line where the stock boost sensor is. So just go ahead and run a vacuum hose from the boost sensor back to where the stock boost sensor is, which is right behind the intake manifold here. Just go ahead and clip it, run the T-line in there, connect it all up, and you're good to go.